Hello and welcome at Thomas Geiger Car, or should I say welcome back, because 3 weeks after we gave you the first impressions of a prototype drive, we finally can show you the production version of the Volkswagen ID. Bus. So if you want to know what to really expect from that vehicle, how it looks and how it feels and how it is from the inside, join me on my first walk around and I'll tell you more about it. Driving an electric vehicle of that size does not only mean you enjoy the silence and you have a good feeling against the environment. No, you also have the benefit of the platform and an extremely small turning circle. While it's pretty hard to maneuver a traditional Volkswagen bus due to its size, especially in a dense city and on a small parking lot, it's damn easy with the ID. Bus. Even for its almost 5 meters in length, it has a turning circle of just 11 meters. That is pretty much the same as in a Volkswagen Golf, for example. Since the ID. Bus is using the MEB architecture, the drivetrain is well known from ID.3 up to ID.5. We have 2 battery sizes at the start. There is a net capacity of almost 80 kilowatt hours, giving you a range of more than 400 kilometers. And later during the life cycle, there will be a pure model with a lower entry price and a smaller battery of about 50 kilowatt hours net capacity, giving you almost 300 kilometers of range. For the start, there will be a rear motor like in the traditional Volkswagen Transporter, just an electric one, this time with 150 kilowatts or 204 horsepower. Later on, there will be an all-wheel drive version with a second motor in the front and almost 300 kilowatts of power, translating to almost 400 horsepower. But no matter what power you have, top speed is pretty limited. 145 kilometers per hour is the maximum that you can achieve. Otherwise, the range will melt down like a cup of ice cream in the summer. Totally different than in any other MEB model is the seating position. That is pure Volkswagen bus feeling. You're sitting higher, you're having a command position, and you have a perfect view of the seat. If you look at the show car and at the production vehicle, you might realize the cars look pretty much the same. Usually there is a big difference between the first sketches and the final version. In this case, Volkswagen has managed to stick pretty close to the original idea. And they have managed to stick pretty close to the original bus, which is on the market for more than 70 years now. An example for that is the huge Volkswagen logo, bigger than in any other production passenger car. Not as big as in the original Bulli from the 50s, but a true and typical reminder. If we go to the side, we see a typical bus profile. Short overhangs, high roofs, meaning the most room you can get. Size-wise, the car is just 4.70 meters in length. That's 20 centimeters shorter than the conventional multivan that was launched last year. The wheelbase instead is 3 meters, same as at the multivan, meaning you have short overhangs, big wheelbase and a large interior. The interior is so spacious that Volkswagen is not only offering a passenger version. No, there is a cargo bus around the corner. You can glimpse it over there. And that's not all. There is an even bigger ID. Bus in the making. 25 centimeters more wheelbase means more room in the interior, space for a third seat row, and making this car a true family cruiser. When we drove the vehicle a few days ago, the interior was still camouflaged and we didn't see much. Now we can see it in the flesh for the first time. And we see, other than the exterior, the interior is pretty much different than we know it from the design car. This is a bad thing because lots of the nice features like the statue on the dashboard or the fancy steering wheel are gone, which is in common with design cars. But it's also a good thing because the production version is very much more versatile and usability is increased. We have lots of storage capacity in the doors, in the center console, in the dashboard, and we have at least 8 USB plugs, so you can charge even more phones than you can carry people. The only thing I don't understand is the big distance between the dashboard and the windshield. That is a space you can use and play table tennis on it. The engineers told me that's necessary because the overhang is so short that they had to pack all the electronics, all the AC technology, and they had to save some room for the augmented reality head-up display that will be offered later. All the other things are pretty common as you know them from the ID3, ID4, ID5 or ID6. A big screen in the center, a small screen behind the wheel, but something different. The gear lever is not mounted at the display anymore as you know it from the ID3. No, it is close to the steering wheel like the old handle for the indicator. No matter if electric motor or internal combustion engine, at least for me, the best seat in the house is always behind the steering wheel. But once sitting in the second row of the ID bus, I don't feel left behind because the vehicle is very roomy and there's lots of legroom for the rear seat passengers. The legroom indeed is so big that you can also adapt it and can move the rear bench to adjust legroom or luggage space. And if you don't like the seats because that's not Bulli multi-vanish enough, you just have to wait a little because in a few months Volkswagen will also offer some captain chairs, single seats for every occupant that you can easily move around and even turn around while driving to have a conference seating. That's typical Bulli feeling. Talking about typical Bulli feeling, once I sit in the back, I see another detail that is true Bulli history. The grip here looks old-fashioned, is traditional, is very practical, and no Bulli without that grip. Thanks for joining me on that first walk around of the ID bus. A car that will definitely propel the electric revolution at Volkswagen and that will give a new momentum to the market overall, because this car proves that electric mobility can deliver emotions as well. Yes, it's not unique, even if it's the first people mover on a dedicated EV platform, but it has an ethos. It transports the idea of the original Volkswagen Bulli. This car was the hero of the hippies, and the new one might become the halo car of the hipsters.